Hi, I'm Matthew Humphreys, award-winning vocal coach and director of development at 360 Artist Development, where we develop singers for the music industry. Today's Tuesday Top Tip is about how often should I release music? I want to cover this because it's a question that a lot of singers ask. And while there's no right or wrong answer, I'll talk to you about how we handle things so that you maybe take up some tips from that. What's more important than how often you release music is whether you actually have a plan for releasing music. Because a lot of singers release and release, or rappers even, just release and release and release and release and release, with absolutely no plan behind it. And that's where things fall down. It's not so much about frequency as fan base and strategy. So make sure if you're going to be releasing songs that you have some kind of strategy behind what you're going to do with the songs when they're released. Otherwise, no one will listen to it other than your close friends and family or people that you tell about it. If you imagine that you've created some absolutely fantastic music that could potentially blow up, could be in the charts, then why would you release it when there's nobody to listen to it? You wouldn't, because once you've released that song, it's out there, which means that by the time you've built a fan base and you're releasing new music, that's going to be the first song they hear. They're not going to listen to the old stuff because it will just be like back catalogue. So those songs will potentially be wasted. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't release great songs to start with, because if you don't, you'll never build the fan base in the first place. My point is that when you're going to release music, have a strategy behind what you're going to do to promote it. I would try and make sure that you have some kind of budget so that you can work with social media advertising, whether that be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure that you do your own videos, such as TikTok videos with your music in the background. Make sure that your track is available on TikTok for other people to use. You can do things like different things on Facebook to promote your own single that you don't pay for. But whatever you do, make sure that you're getting the word out there. Before the single even goes out, you need to have a plan in that interim period of when you set it for release and when it gets released to show people that it's coming. Make short videos with clips of the song, show them little audio clips depending which platform you're using, and just give them little snippets, little bits of excitement with the date each time. Ask them to pre-save so that you've got pre-saves going on. Ask them to share. Make sure that you're asking for action to be taken by your fans so that that music is getting out there. Then, on the single release day, make sure that you are following up with the Spotify or other similar distribution platforms playlists, because you want to make sure that you get it onto playlists so that new people can hear it organically. It's something then that they don't even need to search for. It's on a playlist that they're listening to. So do some playlist promotion. Make sure that that's being done. You can submit to playlists before it's released, of course, but then follow up if it's not on those playlists afterwards, because the song's out then. Get people putting it onto their own playlists. Ask your friends and family to put it onto their playlists too, if necessary, because the more reach it gets, the more people are going to listen to it. They then might become a fan, and then your next single will be even bigger. Then after that single is released, then start paying for adverts on social media to try and get people to actually go and listen. In the early stages of an artist's career, you will often have to pay for people to listen to your music, in whichever way that be, whether you're paying a company to help promote you or whether you're doing it yourself with adverts. This is just how it goes. People don't know who you are, so therefore you need to direct them to show them who you are. However, once your fan base grows, that will still be necessary, but not quite as necessary, because you'll already have a fan base that are loyal to you, who will already give you the impetus and the streams that are going on to start with. Okay, so just remember that when you have that plan for releasing your singles, whether you're going to do it every week, whether you're going to do it every 3 months, whatever it is you're going to do, that you don't just release with nothing behind it, because it will be a waste of your song. You've spent a lot of time in putting that song together, a lot of your creative energy into it, and you want people to listen to it. That's why it's out there. You're not keeping it in your bedroom, you're putting it out there so that people can hear it. So try and make sure that people can hear it. There are other things, of course, you can do, like contacting the local media. We've had artists get onto BBC Introducing a number of times and been interviewed with them. We've had artists get onto ITV National News to talk about the release of their single. We've had other artists who've done more in a kind of a charity type way, songs about mental health or about bereavement, where we've contacted charities that deal with that kind of area to again make a difference and get the song to a new audience. And many other ways that you can think about to try and build that into your single release plan. But just get a plan together, get a Word document or however you want to handle it, and make sure that you've got target dates. So you've got it written down that on this date, that's when the single is going to be released. So prior to the release, on this date, I'm going to do this date, I'm going to do this date, I'm going to release this video on each platform. And then you then have the release date, and then you're going to do this, and this to follow up before the next single gets put out. From that, you can then start seeing what works well for you and what didn't work so well. And you can start changing the way you do things so that eventually you get a well-oiled machine that works for all of your single promotions. The bigger your fan base, of course, the more interest that people will have. But I would steer away from paying for fake streams of your song or fake views on YouTube, because what are you paying for? Yes, it makes it look like people are listening to your single, but you can get penalised on those platforms for doing that. You can get your account suspended if they find out that you've done it, and there are very clever ways that the companies can see who is listening and whether it's a bot or a computer or a real person. If you're paying for something, you want to be paying to have real people listen to your songs, because they may become the fan base of your future. So just be wary of paying for any fakeness when it comes to promoting your single, because that's not real promotion and it's not real. You might see 1,000 streams. Well, if they're all fake, that's 0 streams in effect, isn't it? So that's what I would suggest in relation to releasing your singles. When it comes to how often you release, that's entirely up to you, and it depends how many songs you're going through at the time. Certainly rappers tend to go through a lot faster process than singers. However, it's not necessarily a good idea to be releasing things every week, because there's nothing behind it. It's just constant, and it kind of takes away from the importance of each track. I would much rather see somebody release a song once a month or once every 2 months and really put the effort into it, because that then builds that fan base steadily. It means that every song has its chance to be successful, and you're not oversaturating your fan base with your songs. Because the other thing is, of course, you've got to then keep up with that forever. If you've released things, weekly for 6 months, and then you're finding that it's not going anywhere, and you suddenly slow down, then that doesn't look good for the fans that you already have. You want to sort of meet their expectations. So do it at a pace that you can keep up regularly. A bit like this, we have Tuesday Top Tips. It comes out every Tuesday. We can then manage that release. We know that it's going to happen every Tuesday. It's going to happen every Tuesday. And if you subscribe to this channel, you can watch all of those Tuesday Top Tips. So please do subscribe, and we'll be able to keep you in touch with loads more music industry tips. But if you get yourself that schedule that you can handle, you'll be in a better place, and you'll find that your singles are much more successful down the line. So I hope that's been of help. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Please do go on to 360artistdevelopment.com, check out what we do, and I'll see you in the next one.